We're going to talk about two really kind of neat concepts today, and that's going to be distance and midpoint. So let's see what we're talking about now. Here is a line segment, and you see 2 points here. If I want to know the distance between those points, in this case, I can simply count the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. If I want to do this mathematically, which is what we're kind of setting up to do, this point is at 1, and this point is at 5. So to find the distance between these, we can subtract. 5 minus 1 is 4. So the distance here is 4. Okay? If we want the midpoint of that segment, that means the point in the middle here. Again, I can just eyeball that mathematically. I can just eyeball that and put it there and say, okay, that is halfway between those two. I can also do it mathematically by finding the average of these two values. So it'll be 5 plus 1. To find the average, you divide by 2. So that's 6 divided by 2, which is 3. And the midpoint is right there at 3. So it's easy when it's a little horizontal segment. When it's a vertical segment, it's the same. It's just this is a 1, and this is 4. So again, to find the distance, I could simply count 1, 2, 3. Or I could say the distance is the larger value, 4, minus the smaller value, which is 3. So it's a distance of 3. To find the midpoint, again, we're going to just kind of eyeball. It's going to be right in there. All right. Now, this one wasn't quite as easy, but I can do it mathematically. The midpoint is the average. So that's 4 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 5 divided by 2, which is 2.5, or 2.5, which is up 2.5. Puts it right there on his little nose. Okay? As soon as that line goes sideways, diagonally, then the easy part is gone, being able to just simply count. So what we're going to do is we're going to sketch in some lines here so that we can see that horizontal distance and that vertical distance. Okay? So again, remember, to get this distance here, we went x minus x. So there's 2 points, so we'll say x2 minus x1. That gives me this distance right here. Then this way, we subtracted the y values, so that was y2 minus y1. And remember, this just means the y value from the second point minus the y value from the first point. What we've created here is a right triangle. So we can use Pythagorean theorem that says a squared plus b squared equals c squared, c being the distance. So a is this, so we square it. B is this, so we square it. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but we don't want c squared, we want just c. So we're going to take the square root of all of this, and that gives me the distance. Okay, now let's do this. So this point right here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. This point right here is 1, 4. So let's walk through this. Okay, ready? Find the difference here between the 1 and the 5 by subtracting. 5 minus 1 is 4. Okay, so this is a distance of 4. So find the distance here going from the 1 to the 4. So this one's going to be 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, so this distance here is 3. Now the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared. Take the square root. A squared is 16. B squared is 9. 16 plus 9 is 25. Square root of 25 is 5. The distance here is 5. Okay? Now let's find the midpoint. Now I can look at this and I can guesstimate that the midpoint, let's make this a little bit smaller. Oh, I can't think I can. Okay. I'm going to guess that the midpoint's going to be somewhere about in there. But my midpoint there has to be an ordered pair because it is, oops, let's put that one back on there. Okay, it has to be an ordered pair because it is a point. Okay? So now let's put this back here. I'm going to guess it's going to be around in there. So I need to figure out the x and the y value that would represent this point right here. Well, I'm going to find the midpoint of this piece right here. And again, to do that, what we did was we found the average. So to find the average, we are going to add the two x values together. So in that case, it's going to be 5 plus 1 divided by 2, which is going to give me a 3. And then we're going to find the average of the y values. So that's going to give me 4 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 2.5. 5, okay. So if I go to the point 3, 1, 2, 3, up 2.5, 1, 2.5, there I am, right there at the midpoint. Okay? These are the formulas for those. You need to know those and be able to use them. Okay? Ready? Pause the video. Try it. I want you to find the distance, and I want you to find the midpoint. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and label these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8, 1. This is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 7. Now, I can draw in the lines and do it all again like that, or I can just put it in the formula. Ready? X minus x squared plus y minus y squared. Take the square root. 8 minus 1 is 7. 7 squared is 49. Plus 1 minus 7 is negative 6. Negative 6 squared is 36. Add these two together, and I get 85. Now, there is not a square root of 85, so we can just approximate it at this point. And I'm going to guess at this point it's going to be about 9.2. I can do that on my calculator. Okay? For the midpoint, we're going to find an x and a y value. So it's going to be an ordered pair. So we add the x values and divide it by 2. We add the y values, divide that by 2. This is going to give me 9 halves, which is 4.5. This is going to give me 8 halves, which is 4. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. There's my midpoint right there. Okay? You need to try it with these because these are larger numbers, so we can't even graph them. But I really don't need to graph them. I'm going to set them up for you. Ready? Distance. Subtract the x values. Be careful because you're subtracting a negative. Okay? You're going to square that. Subtract the y values. Be careful because these are like signs. Going to square that. Add them together. Take the square root. Now this becomes a calculator activity. Okay? So this is 495 squared plus 517 squared. Again, both of those are underneath the square root sign. So you're going to take the 495 squared plus the 517 squared. These are your values. That gives you 512,314. Take the square root of that and get approximately 715.7. Okay? Did not want to make that easy. All right, to find the midpoint. Again, you're going to find the average. So it's 493 plus negative 2 divided by 2. And then it's going to be negative 17 plus 500 divided by 2. That's going to give you 491 divided by 2. This is going to give you 483 divided by 2. Those are both actually improper fractions, which are okay. If you wanted to have a better idea of where it is, this would be 245 and 1/2. This would be 241 and 1/2. Okay, so that would be the midpoint. And that's it.